Russia. You may have heard about several abandoned towns or cities around the world that are restricted in terms of who can visit, but what about a fully functioning one? That's the strange case with Mezgorai, which is in the southern Ural Mountains in the Russian Republic of Bashkiria. And despite having an estimated population of around 16,000 people, it's completely cut off from the outside world. It's believed to have been founded in 1979 and officially declared a town in 1995, and there is, along with a base hidden in the mountains, that a number of top-secret Russian military projects are carried out. The residents are all either the employees or the families of the employees of the Russian government, which is why it's been possible to keep it under wraps. From what we do know about the town, it's likely the place, for example, where Russia kept 73 of their nuclear warheads during the Cold War, and there are suggestions it's the location of the country's Dead Hand project that can supposedly launch a nuclear assault on the rest of the world automatically. The less that's known about the town, the more rumors that spread about it too, such as it being where the Russians keep evidence of the existence of aliens and where they're developing the next generation of mass destruction weaponry. Whatever the truth may be, it's certainly not something any ordinary citizens or tourists will be able to find out, because if you get too close without permission, you'll soon be faced with the barrel of a rifle and the suggestion that you turn away. Number 9. North Sentinel Island, Bay of Bengal. North Sentinel Island is a part of the Andaman Island archipelago in the Bay of Bengal and falls within Indian territorial waters. While most of the other islands are open to visitors and tourists and offer exactly what you'd expect from a tropical island retreat, travel to North Sentinel is strictly forbidden to protect the people who live there. Known to outsiders as the Sentinelese, they're one of the last remaining tribes in the world that are fully isolated. The reasons for this date back for centuries after a series of unfortunate encounters with passing vessels, and now the Sentinelese see any attempts by outsiders to visit the island as an aggressive act, and they respond in kind. 2 fishermen who became stranded on one of the beaches in 2006 were, for example, swiftly executed by the islanders, and so was an American missionary who tried to make contact with them in 2018. To try and prevent this from happening, there's a 5-mile exclusion zone around the island that's regularly patrolled by the Indian Navy, with the intent that the Sentinelese will be able to live their lives in peace without the risk of being interrupted by unwelcomed visitors. Number 8. Pravčička Brana, Czech Republic. Located in Bohemian Switzerland, which is a region in northwestern Czech Republic, the Pravčička Brana is a stunning natural sandstone arch. With a height of 52 feet and a width of 26 feet, a total span of 87 feet, it was once one of the most popular tourist attractions in the region, with people traveling far and wide to walk over the infamous arch. It was realized, however, that the more people that visited, the quicker that the arch was beginning to deteriorate, and there was a huge concern that it would one day collapse, not only meaning the country would lose one of its most important landmarks, but also risk a huge humanitarian tragedy. The greatest threat, though, and to prevent those from re-emerging and infecting the modern-day city, there are huge penalties for anyone who sets foot there. Number 6. Heard Island, Australia. Despite falling under the jurisdiction of Australia, Heard Island is one of the most remote places on Earth, lying around 2,500 miles southwest of Perth and 2,600 miles to the southeast of South Africa in the Indian Ocean. It's on Heard Island, along with the surrounding McDonald Islands, that you'll find Australia's only 2 active volcanoes, and one of them, Mawson Peak, is the tallest mountain in Australia, reaching an elevation of 9,006 feet. Because of where the islands are, they're also covered in 41 separate glaciers and are home to a wide range of different plant and animal species. Although they're volcanic in origin, they're made up of mainly limestone and scattered pieces of other rocks, and this means that they're relatively fragile compared to most other islands. And this is why Australia forbids visitors from going there. Of course, this is a place that's so remote that there's virtually no chance that anyone would reach Heard Island without it being their specific destination. So with the rules in place, there have been fewer voyages to investigate the islands in the past half-century than have been sent to the moon. Number 5. Pluto's Gate, Turkey. Ancient civilizations had a number of rituals and traditions that may seem strange to modern-day cultures, but there was often good reason behind many of their superstitions, and there's one that's still dangerous to this day. Known as Pluto's Gate, it was a well-known site to the ancient Greeks and was in the city of Hierapolis in modern-day Turkey. It was a Plutonian, which means it was a site dedicated to the god of the underworld, Pluto, and it's a small cave that's just large enough for one person to fit inside. Mentioned by several high-profile writers from the time, it was said to be an incredibly dangerous place, and one that only the most devout could enter and return safely from. During the times of the Greeks, a further building was in front of the cave, and this too was a deadly space, so much so that vendors sold animals to visitors so they could put them near to the cave and see how quickly they would die. What first sounds like legend actually has a scientific basis behind it, and it was recently discovered that Pluto's gate has a series of cracks in the surrounding rock that large quantities of carbon dioxide gas seeps through. As it's invisible and denser than air, anyone that goes in and breathes normally would soon start suffering the consequences, and because of this danger, visitors aren't allowed anywhere near. Number 4. Snake Island, Brazil. Of all the islands in the world that are dangerous for humans to visit, the one that you'd experience the highest chance of death is the Ilha de Camara Grande, which is around 21 miles off the coast of Sao Paulo in Brazil. And it's for good reason that the Navy patrols the area to prevent anyone from going there. That's because it's more commonly known as Snake Island, and it's home to arguably the deadliest species of snake in the world, the golden lancehead viper, and there are lots of them. Thousands of years ago, rising sea levels caused the island to be cut off from the mainland, and a small population of snakes has become trapped. Instead of having a wide range of food sources, they were now restricted to the birds that migrated past and stopped off on the island. So this necessitated an evolutionary change if they were to survive. The result was the development of a much stronger venom that, if bitten, will cause a bird to die almost immediately and close by, which ensures the snake is able to eat it. With an estimated 1 snake per 11 square feet, they're present in huge numbers on the island, and if you were to go to the forested regions, you'd be guaranteed to see them in every direction. Fortunately, no one knows for sure how potent the venom is against humans because very few people have ever been bitten by one, but if the effects on birds are anything to go by, it would likely be fatal before any anti-venom or treatment could be administered. Number 3. Surtsey Island, Iceland. On the 14th of November in 1963, a huge underwater volcanic eruption began off the southern coast of Iceland, and it would set in motion a series of events that would become one of the most unique scientific experiments ever. By the time the eruption ended in June of 1967, a brand new chain of islands had been formed, the largest of which was called Surtsey, and it gave scientists an incredible insight into the way that the islands are created. The other formations soon worn away in the face of oceanic erosion, but Surtsey is still there to this day and is only expected to fall back